Hello, welcome to Fan Made, the show where we talk to some of the most exciting names in the sports and entertainment world who are diehard passionate fans just like you and me. Today, I'm lucky to be talking to, you may know him through his Instagram content, through his baseball background. You may know him as Billy the Bat Boy, Billy Pinckney. I'm going to talk to Billy today about his background in baseball, his being a baseball fan, and all his history and stories around that too. Billy, great to have you on, man.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you having me. Thank you, Luke.
Likewise, man. Can't wait to get started. I know you got some. We'll have some great stories. It'll be a fun interview. And what I like to ask everybody who comes on the show, what I like to ask them the very first question: do you remember the first game you remember attending, like a pro game, or and any
Wow.
fun stories around that, or do you remember who you went with, what game it was?
Yeah, it's funny. I definitely grew up going to a lot of Yankee Met games as a young kid. My family, my dad would bring me. I don't think there's a whole lot of stories behind it, but I know that it rained a whole lot whenever I wanted to go to a big league game. So it was always tough, man. I wore ponchos and it was always one of those experiences where it's just a messy time. So I remember sitting by the Big Apple one time in City Field
Mm-hmm.
and then Yankee Stadium, being able to watch Mariano Rivera pitch so much before he retired the last year, that was pretty incredible. So I'd say right before Mariano retired, being able to just see greatness in front of me, the entrance song, Enter Sandman,
Oh,
him coming in there, that was pretty insane.
for sure, man. Nothing like it. He was one of the best.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah, no, I definitely hear you having to power through those rain delays. It's brutal, man. It's no matter
Yeah.
how many layers ponchos you have on, man. It's always tough. But hey, at least you got to see Mariano and and Jeter too, and all the legends. Like
Yeah.
even if it was right at the end, you still got to see them. And like you said here, understand, man, powering on those speakers. It's like nothing.
Oh
It's
yeah.
definitely amazing stuff. And you're somebody who's obviously started as a bat boy through his, and then become like a baseball content creator. Like I've seen you've gotten to go to Dubai, you've gotten to go to pretty much every spring trainings, doing interviewing players and whatnot. But my question: what's the most exciting as a fan? What's the most exciting sports memory that you've witnessed live? Like, did you ever go to like a World Series game? Like, see any records broken or anything like that?
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't been to World Series yet. I would love to one day get to one and get to an All-Star game, and that'd be pretty insane. But I'd say let's say the best thing I've seen in person, the craziest moment, man, that's a good question. It's tough to say. I don't think I really saw any records broken at the big league level in person. I've been at a couple walk-offs. Jose Trevino last year hit a
Oh
walk-off for
yeah,
the
yeah,
Yankees.
yeah.
I was at that game, kind of a rainy game, as I mentioned before,
Yep.
man. I don't know what it is. It always rains when I go,
Man,
but
I don't know,
yeah,
man. We either
I
need to
don't know. I
get
bring the rain.
yeah, we
But
either need to get you in the suite or
yeah,
it's something, man.
maybe one day the press box.
There you go. There you go, man.
But yeah, it's funny. It definitely, as a fan, you always want to go to a game that something incredible happens at,
Mhm.
and you never know what'll happen if it'll be a normal game. I remember always trying to look at the scoreboard and see how many hits were in the hit column, and hopefully, man, as you go deeper into the game, maybe a team's throwing a no hitter, and you're able to keep it that way. So then your ticket's worth something, or you're able to witness some history. But I never witnessed history, and maybe one day I will. Maybe one day you will. I don't know. But yeah, it's always fun to have that hope that maybe a game that you're going to is going to be talked about many years later in the history of the sport.
Nah, for sure. Yeah, no, as a fan, something we definitely
Yeah.
always dream of getting to go to. Yeah, no, and definitely have a good feeling you'll be getting to see some soon for sure. And just talk about since I mentioned, you started with the New Jersey Jackals, like the Bat Boy, and back your baseball, you played baseball. Like, what get into like what got you into baseball? Like, was it just playing, or was it like family that got you into it? Like, talk a little about that and how that developed your.
Yeah. I'm from Little Falls, New Jersey. It's a small town next to Montclair, and I grew up loving baseball, just enjoying the game. But we had a minor league team, the Jackals, independent baseball, 10 minutes from my house in the same town. So, what better way to learn more about the game than to try to find a way to work for the team or get involved somehow?
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
the only position I could do at that age, at 11 years old, was be a bat boy. And that was an incredible way to get in the dugout, the clubhouse, learn from guys who have played at higher levels, and just absorb it and be a sponge to all that information and experience. So that's what I did. My dad and I contacted the front office. We wrote a letter and we were able to create that opportunity. in 2013. So I was 11 years old. They penciled me in as a bat boy. They taught me how to do it. And then all of a sudden, I'm in the dugout for quite a few games during that whole year and just showing up every day. Even though I wasn't a bat boy every single game, I still wanted to be there. I wanted to learn. I was just so, I just, it's tough to explain it because if you have a passion for something and you just love it so much, you don't care about if you're getting paid. You don't care about if there's a there's people there who are trying to say they don't want you in that area, because sometimes look, you're a young kid, maybe people who are older don't want you around there, or maybe players don't really want you there, but they treat me so well. They wanted me in that clubhouse. They wanted me to be a part of it, and it was really special because not everyone has that kind of opportunity at a young age, and it was really special that I had that chance to be in the dugout and learn from them. And then a couple years later, I stuck with it, decided that interviewing players would be pretty cool. So I decided to start asking some questions. I had the access, so after batting practice, I'd call a couple guys up to a room, nice quiet spot where we could do a little interview, and it just evolved. It evolved, and whenever you can't all of a sudden grow overnight and all of a sudden have an overnight success. Like a lot of people, when someone has success, they look and say, "Oh man, yeah, he just it just happened for him. It worked out for him." But in reality, it was a very long process. I began my career in baseball over a decade ago, and I was 11 years old. Started interviewing players in 2015 at 13 years old. So this has been a long process. It didn't just happen right away. And obviously, creating some incredible relationships is crucial, and just being a good person, treating people the right way. It's all been extremely satisfying for me to just be a part of that and just learn as much as I can.
Yeah, no, that's a great story, and that's incredible. You were 11 years old getting those opportunities. It's insane. Like that's just awesome. And even though you mentioned, it was a long process, the fact that you started so early, like you have such a head start too. And thinking 11 years old in 2013. First off, you made me feel old. Just playing, but no, but yeah, no, that's just incredible. And the fact that you got that jump on it, and you at such a young age worked so hard getting the players, like getting them up to interview, like the fact that you started so early and had that drive, and what you mentioned before about how like the players respected you, because I think they just straight up respected your hard work and your
Yeah.
work ethic, and you can see that from a young, no matter what age, you can see that if somebody's willing to put in the work, it's pretty much obvious and clear in your case too. And yeah, no, it's super impressive that you were able to jump on that, and you know, so I'm guessing you're like, I want to say 22, I assume 20
Right
or
now, I'm 21.
21. See,
Yeah.
you're just think about it, you're just getting started. So
Yeah.
this is just the beginning for Billy the Bat Boy. So just keep your eye out. This is just he's just on the ground floor. He's got plenty. You can see this kid in your future, man. So
I
yeah,
appreciate it.
but my back to being, a fan going to games. What's the most fun? It doesn't even you don't even have to say Yankee Stadium or City Field. What's the most fun stadium that you've been to? Like the best one, just overall as a baseball, like whether it be the best fans or just best, like vibe, best food, whatever.
Yeah, I've always been a big fan of Camden Yards in Baltimore.
Mhm.
Love that place. They have some great food. Boog's Barbecue in the outfield, incredible. And I just love the look, the retro ballpark. You have that building in right field, the brick. It's a great vibe there. New York, yeah, it's its own animal with the hustle and bustle, and Yankee Stadium has all the history, but it's a new stadium. It's not the old stadium, so it's a little different. And then City Field's cool as well. I think it's a nice fan environment as well. They have the kid zone in center field. So I like City Field as well, but there are so many good ballparks. I really want to get out to more big league parks and really just experience those ballparks and what they offer because everyone's unique. I think every single stadium has a unique experience. I know the Rays, I was recently in Tampa and Tropicana Field. I didn't go there, but we drove past it. And inside, I know they have the Ray tank full of the
Yeah.
Rays. So that's something unique that only they would have. So I'm really looking forward to eventually checking out more of these parks and seeing what it's all about. But some minor league parks as well that are fantastic. And I grew up going to Yogi Berra Stadium, working there,
Mhm.
and that's a nice little ballpark. But the Somerset Patriots, the Yankees AA affiliate, they have a nice park
Oh
as
yeah, they
well.
do.
But I'd say as of now, with the ballparks that I've experienced, Camden Yards has to be on the top of the list.
Oh no, for sure. Cannon's great, and like you said, it's definitely got that old school vibe. But also, I like how they have the warehouse and right field, and it's just keeps it like I like that old school feel to it, and it's definitely a great park overall
Oh
too.
yeah.
And yeah, no, and I know you mentioned it before, but who was like some like I know you mentioned like Mariano Rivera and Jeter being like some of your favorite players growing up, but who were did you ever have that chance to interview a pro player that you grew up watching and then look back later and be like, wow, that was one of my favorites growing up, and then now here I am interviewing him.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I haven't been able to interview Jeter or Mariano yet. Hopefully in the
Yet,
future it'll happen.
yet is the key word there.
Yes, but I'd say Nick Swisher is definitely my all-time favorite interview. And being a Yankee fan growing up, watching him out there with all that energy. Now, he follows me on social. He knows me, and we went to Dubai for the Baseball United League. So we've, spoken quite a bit, and it's incredible, man. Just to create those relationships. And I was a young kid interviewing him when I would say about maybe 15 years old, back when he was playing in AAA with the Yankees at
Mm-hmm.
the end of his
Yep.
career
Yep.
before he retired. And then interviewing him for the second time in Dubai this past November. So quite a few year gap there in between. But it just shows that, he gave me an opportunity to chat with him a little bit when I was young, just starting out. And then I'm with him in Dubai. They hired me to go out there and create some content, and then I'm interviewing him again. So it all ties together. It's pretty special, and obviously, when someone treats you right, you always appreciate that.
Yeah, no, for sure. Did he remember you the second time going around? Had he already
Yeah,
followed you at
he,
that point, or?
he did because I've once in a while do a little Throwback Thursday post,
Oh
and I
yeah, yeah, yeah.
posted the screenshot of our interview a few times, and he's seen it. So it's pretty cool
That's
because
awesome, man.
from his perspective too, you realize that, man, I gave this kid a few minutes of my time, and
There you
he's
go.
been able to grow and find a career in this industry. It's also pretty cool.
No, for sure, you're right. And like he didn't. The thing, like at that point when you interviewed him the first time, he was already, a star at that point. Like, he was just
Yeah,
trying to get another chance at the majors. But like he was already like, he didn't have to give. But the fact that he gave you that little time and you took it and ran with it, like
right.
it's good on him too. And I'm sure he's just. I feel like you could confirm, but he's the same guy you see in the post game interviews
Oh
while
yeah,
he's playing. That's the same guy you see. Like he's just on 24/7. I feel like super
he's that guy
energetic,
all the
hype.
time. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
no, he's for sure. He seems like the type of guy I want to hang out with. Like just a cool
Yeah,
guy, and you know, lucky you got to interview him too. And again, and first time, and then coming full circle. And
for sure.
with that in mind, hypothetically, if you go to any baseball game, any stadium, with if you had like three other people you could bring with you, and they could be famous, they could be not famous, they could be alive, dead, anybody. Three people. Who are you taking with you, and what game are you going to?
Wow, that's incredible. I'd say I might have to go into the guys who have passed on. Man, I think I'll pick three ball players too, because we're able to talk about the game and just analyze it a little bit as we're watching it. I'm gonna say, let's see. This is tough. This is tough.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'll give you the three guys who I would bring
Okay.
first. So
Yeah,
I'd
that's
say
fine.
Babe Ruth,
Oh,
got to bring him. Yogi Berra, he's my favorite all-time player.
yeah.
He was a great person. And then I'll say, let's see, maybe maybe Ted Williams. I might bring the three classic ball
Yeah.
players, and I'll bring them along with me to learn about more about the game and the intricacies. And I'll go to the oh man, this is tough. Which game would I pick? Probably a World Series game. Let's
Good call.
see. I'll go with the 2009 World Series, the Yankees, the last time they won it.
There you go.
So that,
Man, that would be
they'd
something then.
all of them retired at that point, and
Yeah. And Yogi was
uh,
still alive too, so at that
Babe
point.
Ruth
So
to be dead at that point. Yogi was alive, and I believe Ted
yeah, but the
Williams,
other two were dead though. Yep.
the other two, yeah, Ted Williams might have,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, for sure. Yeah, no, but that's a great answer. And you
Yeah,
definitely we get to hang out with them and have from that their era, but also see compare like their era to now and have like hear their take on it. And also, I feel like it would just be a fun time regardless, especially with Babe Ruth there, because
yeah.
he was. And yeah, no, and my question, if you were to, I always like to ask this too, if you were to connect with somebody who's never been to a pro baseball game, or even just like a baseball game in general, what are some tips and like recommendations you have like for people going to their first MLB game, or just like some general traditions you like to do when you go to a MLB game?
Yeah, it's a great question because I ask a lot of people about if they're interested in baseball or
Yeah.
what they like about the sport or how they learn about the sport. But I'd say first to watch some YouTube videos beforehand before you even get to the ballpark, so you have a general idea. Go with somebody who can teach you a little bit, and then truly take some time to analyze and watch what's happening, not just be on your phone the whole time.
Yeah.
It could be so
No,
easy to
for
just
sure.
pick up your phone and want to just scroll on social media during the game. And I've done that too sometimes, but you want to truly just embrace the atmosphere. Baseball's such a it's more of a laid back game because you're supposed to sit back and enjoy it, whether it's a beautiful sunset or the music playing on the speakers, eating some popcorn, whatever it is. Those are the little things that make the game special. And then for the game itself, just watch what's happening. Maybe you could ask some questions of as to why certain people are doing certain things. Why did the hitter run in this spot because of this situation? So then you have a general idea. But it's definitely ask questions because it can be very confusing for people, especially if they don't know a lot about the game. And I think that's what turns a lot of people off about baseball is because it can be difficult to learn later in life when you really haven't grown up with the sport.
Yeah.
And it's an incredible game. I think it's probably the best game that there is. But if you haven't learned it since you were a young kid, sometimes it could be difficult to really embrace it when you're older.
Oh no, I agree. And I always tell people the thing about baseball, like even if you're a new person watching it, like it's not, even though it's not as fast paced as say like football or basketball or hockey, whatever,
Yeah.
like it's more of a sport you have to think about and understand. Like it's like more strategy than really any other sport. And I always feel like you kind of have to like, if you, especially if you already grew up with the game, like you already like know what to like, what's the pitcher gonna throw at this, like
Yeah.
like you kind of have to, you get more of like strategy. But once you understand that, and then you get a better understanding appreciation of the game. And I always tell people that like it's more just like you have to, once you understand the rules, and like you can kind of think as like, all right, is the pitcher gonna throw this, is hit it, you got two guys on base, should he, what should he do here, like, yeah, no, I think once you understand like the basic rules, and then you can start understanding like strategy and get a better appreciation of the game for sure.
Yeah.
And another question I have for you, going again, it could be a Yankee, it could be non-Yankee. What's the best player like you've watched playing and just seen him play and be like, man, like just this guy's like talent is just worth the price of admission right here. Like what's
Yeah.
like who's
Yeah. There's
just
so many players,
yeah, like
so
who's
many
one
great
player that
talented
you just
players
love
out
to
there.
watch live?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's actually funny because in Dubai, I had a chance to watch a lot of solid players who were big league all-stars.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
was right in front of Robinson Cano when he was hitting batting practice. And I had him mic'd up actually. So he had a mic on for me and he was just hitting bombs, man. The
Yeah.
smooth swing.
I was
He's probably one of the greatest second basemen in Yankees history. And it's just incredible to watch that and just see him hit homers with ease. So he
yeah.
was definitely someone who had such a sweet stroke and
Oh, I know.
performed really well. But then Derek Jeter too, obviously. That's a guy who I
Yeah.
grew up
No, of
watching and I love
course.
seeing him play. Aaron Judge, a lot of the Yankee legends, but man, there are so many guys from around the league that are really impressive to watch. You have so many different players, man. Young guys coming up right now who are just so smooth. And nowadays, I feel like you're seeing more five-tool players, guys who are
Mhm.
able to do so well across all facets of the game. They have speed, they able to hit the long ball, they're able to hit with runners in scoring position, and just be that overall dynamic athlete on the baseball field. So it's pretty wild, man. I really think that there are so many more talented ball players. They're stronger, and we'll see. It's always interesting to see how do you compare current players to the old players and the generations and the eras.
Mhm.
And that's something really difficult to do, but it's incredible to see what those guys have done, like Cano, Jeter, and others.
Yeah, no, that's a great call. And yeah, Cano, he just definitely, that's a great. I was just thinking about that when you mentioned Dubai, because
Yeah.
his swing, like it was just so good and it's such so pure and just so good for Yankee Stadium too, with that short porch. Like it was just so much fun, and he was smooth defensively too. Like
Oh
he
yeah.
was able to, yeah, like with glove and just. like you said, like he made on both sides of the ball, he made things look effortless. Like he swung like he was just like he was swinging like a toothpick, but he just would like clobber it like 500 feet,
Right.
and like the way he would just turn double plays, he was just kind of had like some flair to it, but like he would pull it off, and he would just make it look so easy out there. And yeah, and you mentioned about how there's like more 5 tool players, and absolutely right. And I feel like a lot of it's underappreciated too because of so many guys are of those 5 tool players are just hitting home runs. Everybody appreciates the home run, that's great and all, but it's especially like you kind of overlook like other like for Aaron Judge, for example. Everybody knows him as a home run hitter, and hit 62 the other year, but he's still like not just a home run guy. Like he great in the great arm, great in the, great defensively, and can hit. Doesn't just hit home runs. Like he hits
Yeah.
doubles, he hits can RBIs, and I feel like that's underappreciated part of his game, and a lot of other guys too who you look at the home runs, but you miss out on other aspects of their game too.
Yeah. For sure. It's interesting because a lot of times the guys who hit for power, they're not always the fastest. So I feel like it's really pretty impressive when you have players who hit for power, but then they're also pretty speedy on the base
Hmm.
paths. And
Yeah,
that's really
no, for
impressive. Guys
sure.
like Judge are like
Yeah,
that.
he's
Judge is not bad on the bases. He can get
no,
around
no,
them.
not
And other players as well who are coming up in the Yankees organization I know of who are pretty fast and can get around. And it's interesting to see because sometimes you think, okay, someone's a power hitter, but then there's going to be a fault somewhere else, whether it's, a lot of strikeouts or they're slow, etc.
mhm.
So it's pretty incredible when you have guys who are able to do both.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, and especially seeing it live, going to the games live, you appreciate it more because you can actually see like their thoughts, like when someone's gonna steal a base or what have you. But yeah, no, a couple
Yeah.
questions before I go. One, since you've already gotten such an amazing accomplished career at only 21, like what's next for Billy the Bat? Like where do you see yourself? Like are you could you go into broadcasting? You're gonna continue to build up the content creation? Like what's next for Billy the Bat Boy?
Yeah, it's something I've been thinking about for a while. What's the route? What's the direction I want to go in? And there could be a couple different ways that I decide to move in. Look, you have the traditional media route, which is more of the broadcast angle, and then there's the content creation and posting videos and all that stuff. That's another direction. But I'd like to do a mixture of both. I'd like to be able to create my own content, produce what I'd like to, and at the same time contribute to a network or do some more traditional media coverage. So that's what I'd say I'm really focusing on next is to have a combination of that. So we'll see. I'm trying to work on things and we'll see what happens. I recently graduated college, so now I'm really able to dial into this full time and try to find ways to create new opportunities. But things could happen out of nowhere. You put in the work, you put in the effort, you make connections with people, and then all of a sudden you might get an email one day or a phone call where an opportunity is presented to you and it might be a little unexpected. You try,
Mm.
you work hard for opportunities, but then sometimes the timing isn't always there. So you have to be ready for it when things happen.
No, you're absolutely right too. But you're doing the right thing by staying ready, and you definitely have the chops and the talent to go into broadcasting or continue content creation or
Yeah.
do or find that happy medium. But I definitely see big things in your future, Billy. And thanks for coming on, man. But before you go, are there tell the listeners where they can find you on social media, and if you have anything you want to promote right now?
No, I appreciate it, Luke. Yeah, Billy the Bat Boy on all social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and then YouTube, of course, is my name, Billy Pinckney or Billy the Bat Boy. And then billythebatboy.com is the website. So that's where all my content is. And no, it's been a pleasure to hop on here with you and just chat about my journey. And it's really special. And that's the main key, is just to help inspire the next generation of players and help fans enjoy this game of baseball. It's pretty incredible.
Great, man. It's a great story. There you have it. He's Billy Pinckney. He's fan made. Thanks to everybody. Thanks to Billy for coming on. Thanks to everybody listening. Please give us a follow, like, subscribe on Instagram and YouTube at fan_made_podcast and on X or Twitter at fan made with LP. Thanks, Billy, and we'll see you next time.